If you enjoyed that flashback to the ECC and MCC days, a wonderful way to begin the afternoon's proceedings. Please note that we will be replaying the short film again at the end of the formalities if you missed it. And there are some lovely familiar faces there. Some of us have a few years on top of it. Anyway, welcome to the MCC Jubilee event, a celebration of 50 years of unity, diversity and community. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helena Kyriazopoulos and I'm the CEO of the Multicultural Communities Council of SA, and it's my honour and privilege to be your MC for the day. I would like to begin by thanking the team at the Torrens Parade Grounds for their invaluable support in preparing today's event. This is a fantastic venue and the perfect setting for our celebration. Yatuk, thank you so much for your help today. It's been an absolute delight. Before we begin the formalities, a few housekeeping matters. In the case of an emergency, please assemble in the southwest corner of the car park near King William Street, just where the flagpole is. The bathrooms are located to my right at the end. And feel free to keep your mobile phones on, but please turn them off on silent, otherwise you'll have 120 pairs of eyes staring at you. Finally, I'm sure there were a few Eurovision parties that went on into the early hours last night. So for those who already know the results, please try to keep them to yourself. Many of us are Eurovision buffs who will be watching the event tonight since we missed the live stream due to the late hour. Thanks for helping keep the secret. Now, it's my great honour to introduce Auntie Rosalind Coleman, a proud Kaurna and Narungga woman, and Basil as well. Auntie Rosalind has a strong background in education. She is a leader at the Aboriginal Burren Community Church and serves as Deputy Chair of the Kaurna Yurta Aboriginal Corporation. Please join me in welcoming Auntie Rosalind to deliver the Welcome to Country.
But before we start, just a little bit of thing about the didgeridoo. It's actually Daniel Coleman. Basil's my husband, but this is my son. He's going to perform the didgeridoo. The didgeridoo is not come from us from Adelaide. It's come from the Northern Territory with the Yungalu people, and we want to pay our respect to the Yungalu people for Daniel playing this. It's a man's instrument, it's not a women's instrument, and you know, every time I hear the didgeridoo, it just gives me chills all the time. So Daniel's going to perform that now. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Every time I hear him play, I get out of breath, you know, so it's the circular breathing. But I always say that I'm biased in a lot of ways. I think Daniel is the best didgeridoo player here. He's been playing since he was 7 years old. But what I want to say is that it's an absolute honour and a privilege to be here this afternoon in coming to this special event and welcome you to country. I always look at, welcome to country is a little bit about sharing my culture, sharing the significant areas here on Kaurna country, because it's the country of the Kaurna people, my people. So I want to just acknowledge that. So mani nā putni naka nā minya, nā mani nā Nari Rosalind Coleman, mara wichananga Kaurna mianyana, nā wangari mani nā putni Kaurna yurtana, nā chu yunga gata yakanandaya. What I just said is that it's great that we've all come here today. The land that we meet on today is the land of the Kaurna people, and I would like to pay my respect to my elders, past, present, and those emerging. I also know that we have a lot of elders that are present here this afternoon, and I would also like to acknowledge your contribution to this country as well. And I know that you are so important to your family and your community as well. I would also like to acknowledge, like I said, my elders. I know that they have continually fought the hard battles in keeping our culture alive and strong today, as we build upon their legacy today and into the future. Like I said, my name is Rosalind Coleman. I'm a proud Kaurna and Narungga woman with historical bloodline and spiritual links to Kaurna country and to Narungga country. I am the inheritor of 60,000 plus years of Kaurna wisdom and Narungga wisdom from my ancestor, Nellie Ramandari, and my parents, Stanford and Nellie Wanganeen. So good afternoon. Welcome to our beautiful Kaurna land. Kaurna Miana are the Aboriginal people of the Adelaide Plains region. Kaurna Miana Yerta, the Kaurna people's traditional tribal land or country. I also want to acknowledge the Kaurna people as the protectors and the caregivers of the Adelaide Plains region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are spiritually connected and important to the living Kaurna people today. Some may know, some may not know, but our land is the home of the great red kangaroo, Tanda, the great Kaurna ancestral spirit, Jubilee, the ibis man. As we know that the kangaroo never moves backwards, it always moves forward. And for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, with the rest of the Australian community, we want to continually moving forward together. Kaurna are the original people of the Adelaide Plains, the area that's now occupied by the city and parklands called by the Kaurna people Tantanya, the red kangaroo place. This is the heart of Kaurna country. We know that culture, land, language, family is very important for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, but also for you that are present here today. In truth-telling, sharing our stories and respectful conversations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, we never ceded our sovereignty. Our ancestors' legacy will continue to live in the memory and the hearts of their generations. But many people have migrated to these beautiful shores that we call Australia today. Australia is a multicultural country, and we embrace other countries. That's what makes us unique in working together. I would like to recognise and acknowledge and embrace the true history of this country, a history which dates back thousands of generations. The very footprint on this country were those belonging to the First Nations people, who are the traditional owners and are thankful for the community that we live, we share and we work together now. I know that this gathering is a very special and important event in welcoming you all here this afternoon to the MCCSA Multicultural Community Council of South Australia. And we know that it has proudly served South Australians' diverse communities for 50 years, guided by over 75 years of tradition in supporting and empowering South Australians' diverse multicultural community. Today, you will hear and listen to inspiring guests and speakers. This event is focusing on weaving connections, how yarning and listening but also bringing together community in developing programs, in fostering and encouraging a deeper connection that will lead to improved solutions in embracing culturally diversity and differences, ultimately driving more successful outcomes. The work that you've done is so important within your organisation. I see a lot of men and women that have started this journey from the beginning, and it's their legacies that will continue to live and carry on. But people right across Australia, we want to see change, and we want to live and thrive in a safe and happy community. So how do we create space for change? Can we become better at it? How do we become more than just resilient? How do we become anti-fragile and improve their future state through change? The principles remain the same for all types of changes, including personal change, regardless of its size, shape, purity or complexity. May our footprints on these ancient lands of the Kaurna country and other nations remind us of creation and connectedness in our search to truth-telling. Have a great day, and I wish this organisation all the best as you continue to serve your community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Auntie Rosalind, for your warm welcome to country. Thank you so much, it was lovely. On behalf of the Multicultural Communities Council of South Australia, I would now like to warmly acknowledge and welcome the many esteemed guests joining us today, including the Honourable Hugh Van Lay, AC, Patron of the MCCSA, Mrs Lay, OAM, the Honourable Peter Malinowskis, Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Zoe Beddison, MP, Minister for Tourism and Multiculturalism, the Honourable Josh Teague, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, representing the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Vincent Tarzia today. And with him, we also welcome the former Senator for South Australia, Dr. Baden Teague, his dad, also sitting down the front. The Honourable Mira El Dawani, Member for the Legislative Council, and her husband. The Honourable Jing Lee, Independent Member of the Legislative Council and Edilau. Mayor Michael Coxon, City of West Torrens, and Councillor George Dimitriou, City of West Torrens. Deputy Mayor Councillor Jason Velasquez from the City of Marion, representing Mayor Chris Hanna, who sends his apologies. Deputy Mayor Councillor Edgar Agus, City of Charles Sturt, representing Mayor Angela Evans. Miss Louisa Greco, Chairperson of the South Australian Multicultural Commission and Commission members. Miss Elizabeth Ho and her husband, Chair of the History Trust of South Australia, Miss Josephine Lamshed, Regional Director of South Australia, Department of Home Affairs, Miss Jan Chorley, CEO, Australia Day Council of South Australia, Mrs. Miriam Cocking, finally I get to our chair, Chairperson, MCCSA, and all our MCCSA board members. Thank you for joining us today. MCCSA members, families and friends who are the heart of our organisation. If I have accidentally overlooked anyone, please accept my sincere apologies, but you're all as equally as important as each other. Thank you. Thank you all for being here as we mark the significant milestone, 50 years of MCCSA on our shared journey. Now, to start the afternoon, may I please welcome our patron. It is my pleasure to invite our first guest to the stage. He truly needs no introduction. Being well known and deeply respected across our state, please join me in welcoming our patron, the Honourable Hugh Van Lay, AC, to address us.
Well, good afternoon all, and thank you, Helena, for this very generous introduction. To the Premier, Minister, Opposition deputy leaders and shadow minister for multicultural affairs, all other parliamentarians. The list is quite long, and I only have a very limited time, so excuse me for not repeating what Helena already read. And to all the mayors, local government representatives, community leaders, and many, many other distinguished guests here today. I feel extremely pleased to see so many familiar faces from the old friends that we know for many, many, many years. I feel like coming home of this extended family after a long time away. Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate a profound journey of unity, resilience, and progress, the 50th anniversary of the Multicultural Communities Council of South Australia. I'm so pleased to hear the welcoming words from Auntie Rosti and the performance by Daniel. It's a wonderful to welcome us to this land. The traditional custodians, the Ghana people, has always been the shining light of what is resilience about. This is the representation of the longest living culture on the planet. How lucky we are to inherit that from our First Nation people. From its modest beginning to becoming a cornerstone of our state's cultural fabric, MCCSA has embodied the accents of inclusivity and service that defines our multicultural identity. The origin of MCCSA can be traced back to a pivotal era in post-war World War II Australia, when waves of migrants sought refuge and opportunity on our shores. In response to their needs, the Good Neighbour Council was established in 1949, providing crucial support for newcomers adjusting to a new homeland. However, it was 1970s that heralded a transformative shift, a movement towards embracing diversity, dismantling discriminatory policies, and recognizing the invaluable contributions of culturally diverse communities. Out of this evolving landscape emerged the Ethnic Communities Council in 1975, the year 50 years ago Saigon fell into the hands of the communists, laying the groundwork for advocacy and representation. And yet, the true watershed moment arrived in 1995 with the merger of the Ethnic Communities Council and the United Ethnic Community Councils, giving birth to the Multicultural Communities Council, MCCSA. This union not only amplified our collective voice, but also solidified our commitment to unity through diversity. And since then, MCCSA has been the vanguard of change, advocating for equitable policies, pioneering essential services, and empowering generations of Australians from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. From aged care to youth program, from leadership training to community support initiatives, MCCSA has steadfastly championed inclusivity, ensuring every voice is heard and every need is met. And as someone who arrived in Australia as a refugee, I have witnessed firsthand the remarkable power of community. I understand what it means to forge a new life in a foreign land, knowing nobody, no friends, no relatives, and to confront uncertainty yet and find hope in the kindness of others. The MCCSA has been the bedrock of support for countless individuals and families, acting as a bridge between cultures, guiding newcomers, and passionately advocating for inclusion and equality. And today, MCCSA stands as a testament to the vision and dedication of numerous individuals. Through the leadership and foresight of Bruno Krumens, Michael Schutz, Randolph Alwis, Ron Tan, Tony Cocchiaro, and now Miriam Cocking, and countless volunteers and community members, MCCSA has shaped its enduring legacy. While time does not permit me to name all these individuals, I must mention stalwarts like Ian Hansdorff and Silvio Ladarola, whose dedication and perseverance have been instrumental in navigating the organization through many, many challenges over the decades. I also wish to acknowledge the outstanding contributions of several women whose dedication, passion, and unwavering commitment over the years have been a shining inspiration for MCC-SA's success and achievements. Sophia Canas, Sophia Matias, Isadie Davis, Lema Bogans, Iodi Witherell, Dana Vukovic, Helen Kirizopoulos, Gosha Skauben, Miriam Cockin, and many, many, many more. Ladies and gentlemen, as we reflect on the past 5 decades, we celebrate not only the milestone, but also the resilience that has guided us through challenges and triumphs alike. Looking forward, MCC-SA remains steadfast in its mission to cultivate a more inclusive, equitable society where every individual, regardless of background, can thrive and contribute. With 36 diverse programs and partnerships spanning our state, MCC-SA continues to serve as a beacon of hope and opportunity for all who call South Australia home. On this momentous occasion, let us pay tribute to the pioneers who paved the way, the leaders who continue to guide us, and the communities whose strength and diversity inspire us daily. Together, let us reaffirm our commitment to a future where unity, compassion, and respect prevail. Thank you all. Thank you everybody who has been part of MCC-SA's journey, a journey that underscores the profound impact of community and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. I warmly welcome you all for being here today, and thank you most sincerely for joining us in celebration of this remarkable milestone. Happy 50th anniversary, MCC-SA. Thank you.
Mr. Lay, thank you so much for those very, very kind words. I would like to invite to the stage next the Honourable Peter Malinauskas, our 47th Premier of South Australia. He needs no introduction at all. Premier?
Thanks very much, Helena. Can I start just by thanking Rosalind and Daniel for their welcome to country. Today, obviously, we get together to celebrate multiculturalism in our state through this magnificent organisation, but it does invite an opportunity just to reflect on culture more broadly. I mean, of all the ethnicities and cultures that multiculturalism has brought South Australia, when you add it all up and you think about it, the history is mind-boggling, but each and every one of those histories is absolutely nothing in terms of longevity in comparison to the 65,000 years of cultural history that Indigenous people have called this land home for. 65,000 years. That's 63,000 years BC. It's quite remarkable. To the Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Zoe Beddison, to you, Hugh Van Lay, former Governor of South Australia, but also patron of this organisation. It's great to see you here this afternoon with Mrs. Lay. Can I acknowledge Josh Teague, the Deputy Leader of the Opposition and the Shadow Minister for Multicultural Affairs. It's great to see parliamentary colleagues Jing Lee here, who has been an enthusiastic supporter of multicultural affairs over many years, and also Mira, my parliamentary colleague in the Upper House and State Parliament. To representatives of local government, of which there are a number, also to you, Miriam and Helena, thank you for all your stewardship and advocacy through this magnificent organisation. 50 years of the Multicultural Council doing their work. 1975 it started. And it's worth just thinking back to 1975 because it was quite a formative year when it comes to multicultural affairs more broadly. Obviously, this council was established, significant, But at a federal level of government in 1975, of course, the Whitlam government finally put the nail in the coffin of the White Australia policy with the successful passage of the Racial Discrimination Act 1975. A profound moment in the history of this country. Here at home, locally, we saw for the first time ever the radio airwaves occupied exclusively by a foreign language when, and I'll get my pronunciation poorly here, but when Radio Pisani was established for the Italian community, it was the first time anywhere in the country that ethnic radio was broadcast 24/7 in a foreign language. But 1975 was also the first year that we saw the arrival of boat people to Australia. Boat people coming from Timor, and then followed not too long after by members of the Vietnamese community, which Hugh Van Lay knows all too well about, and quite rightly mentioned the fall of Saigon having its 50th year anniversary. And at the moment on Netflix, there is a documentary series about the Vietnam War. There's been a couple I've watched over the years. The Kenneth Burns one I think is probably the best, but the one that's on Netflix at the moment, I've just finished it. It's excellent, and I learnt something out of it that I didn't know, which is probably quite shameful on my part. But you know, during at the end of the conclusion of the Vietnam War, there is a range of images that are iconic that would be in the back of everyone's mind, and one image is of the helicopters getting pushed off the back of US destroyers and aircraft carriers. You know that famous footage of helicopters being literally pushed by Navy servicemen and women into the water. And I've always seen that image and never fully understood what it was about. But in the final episode of this documentary, it explained it to someone naive like myself. Do you know why they were pushing helicopters off the back of those boats? Helicopters that were worth over $1 million US apiece back then, let alone today, was to make room for people. Now I'm making room for South Vietnamese refugees. And I think it's a powerful image because it invites us to ask ourselves, would that be replicated today? And I'm not 100% sure of the answer, if I'm honest, which is why we cannot be complacent. It is absolutely true that in our state and in this country, we have done multiculturalism better than anyone, anywhere in the world. Over 200 nations and cultures represented here in Australia. In South Australia, over 470,000 of our 1.7 million people population were born overseas. In my own local community, in the inner western suburbs of Adelaide, 49% of households have English as a second language. Half. And despite all of that diversity and the complexity that it brings, here we are in this island continent, in a relatively small part of it here in South Australia, utterly peaceful, utterly engaging, utterly embracing of other people's faith traditions, cultures, and creeds. That's a good thing, but we've got to remain committed to making it work. We have to make sure that we put policies in place that ensure that multiculturalism isn't used as a political cudgel to drive division, but rather as a political tool to encourage inclusivity and bringing one together and inviting people to think about other people's perspectives and experiences to improve our own. This organisation has done it better than almost anyone. And to that end, the state government is very, very pleased to support the Multicultural Communities Council here in South Australia. It is well led, it does amazing work, and we look forward to hopefully in 50 years' time seeing Hugh Van Lay here celebrating it again. Because that would be worthy of particular celebration. But I hope the work continues and we wish it all the very best. Thank you very much.
Wow, 50 years from now, oof. Oh, that would be a sight. Thank you, Premier, for your insightful speech. We appreciate your presence and your continued support of multicultural communities, and in particular, thank you for your commitment to the MCCSA. I would like to invite to the stage the Honourable Joss Teague, MP, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, who today is representing the Opposition, the Honourable Vincent Tarzia. Thank you. Please welcome.
Thanks, Helena. Gee, it's marvellous to be looking out at this full room gathering for a 50th birthday celebration. Can I join with the Premier in saying thanks, Rosalind, thanks Daniel for your welcome to country, and join with the Multicultural Communities Council of South Australia, which does work throughout the state, of course, in recognising the original owners of lands across the state, and I acknowledge in particular the Kaurna people today. To the Premier, to Minister Beddison, who I think we greet each other now hours in intervals rather than days or longer. To my parliamentary colleagues, I see the Honourable Muriel Danawi and also the Honourable Jing Lee, to representatives of local government and leaders in community, one and all. Isn't it marvellous to be here? Thank you to patron Hugh Van Lee, to Miriam and to Helena for having me and for having all of us here along to join with you on this very special occasion. And who would have thought, even just a very short time ago, that the leader of an occasion such as this would have to put out a spoiler alert for Eurovision results. I think in terms of, I'm not going to, I'll mention something in a moment, but I'm not going to give any spoilers. I think even just a few short years ago, that wouldn't have rated a mention. My wife Maria is born and raised in Sweden, and so for the last 25 years or so, we get up early this morning. And I know a few things, Helena, but I'm not going to say a word. And I think it underscores what the Premier's just said, that we could fill the Adelaide Oval 10 times over, and then 10 more times over, and then another 10 times over with all of the people who have been born elsewhere and come here to contribute, to live, and to add to the great strength of the fabric of our community in South Australia. This gathering is a good way to highlight that story, but it touches everybody throughout our state, and we are also so proud of it. I also celebrated a 50th anniversary just earlier this year, and so I've been reflecting on what 50 years looks like personally. And we're here thinking about 1975, and I want to say just a couple of things about that in a moment, but we go back 75 years ago as well, as Hugh has just said. You know, post-war, the Good Neighbour Council was a great step forward in South Australia, within Australia, to say to people who are newly arriving out of strife and turmoil, okay, there's support for you. And the natural focus was, of course, an ethnic affairs focus. It was people coming to Australia and how are you going to best be supported assimilating to this new country. But gee, you know, if you think back to that time, it's rather quaint, really, to think that people coming from elsewhere would assimilate to a 1950 Australia. And of course, it was such an enormous and significant moment, not only for community, but of course it had to be led in public policy, policies of government, to move to what we know is a multicultural approach to communities in South Australia. And that means you bring all you've got and you impart that on what characterises being South Australian and being Australian. I'm proud to have Dad along today. Dad was one of those in the Senate, working alongside Malcolm Fraser in those early years of the defining of what multicultural Australia looked like. And so growing up as a young child for me, home and our extended family included Uncle Mick and Auntie Victoria Gallamarino. It included the Sadri family. It included the Saltis family, and so many others. I think as a child, Hugh and Lan, we were with Vietnamese community more than I could even comprehend as a small boy. And so in getting around to what have been a number of 50-year anniversaries this year, it is really significant to see that we have the fruits of 50 years of multicultural Australia. The Vietnamese community in particular have coined one of those most moving expressions to say thank you to Australia. I think all of us, the Premier and I and the Minister and all of us who are speaking in that context, turn it back around and say thank you. Thank you. And of course, the Vietnamese community is one of so many in South Australia making that contribution. As the Premier's just said, that is not something that was once done and always the way. Far from it. We had rocks through the front windows at home when I was about 11, and Mum and Dad had to sort of sweep away a bit of glass and move the rocks behind the curtains for my young brother's birthday party later that morning. This space has been contested, and it needs work all the time to continue on a pathway to thriving and to success. And it's true in the present day. So let's all continue to speak up for our strength in multicultural South Australia, for the continued development of what that's all about. Resilience is an important word to use in this space, but so is celebration. I've said it now many times in recent weeks and months. You have in your public representatives in this state complete solidarity in that space. We will always work together towards strengthening South Australia through its multicultural strength. Happy birthday to you all, and let these celebrations continue. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for your thoughtful and meaningful words today, and thank you for giving us no clues at all. That's really very good. Now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our chair, Mrs. Miriam Cocking, to the stage. But for those of you who don't know Miriam, you may know only a little bit. Miriam has been volunteering for the MCCSA in various capacities for 43 years. So if you do your maths, 50 years old, 43 years, so she's put in a lot of hard yards into this organisation. So she came in, she moved from Victoria, which was probably a very good move, into South Australia, the best, and she sought some volunteering opportunities, and here she actually provided a lot of input into our aged care, our women's agenda, and since contributed to the board many years over, and has been our chair for 9 years. So Miriam, may I please welcome you to the stage.
When I look at you, I look at myself. Volunteers, workers, unwavering commitment to serve our multicultural communities. But I thank you all, and happy birthday to us all. Now, what can I say after our patron had spoke a very meaningful, and I look back, Premier, Mr. Lee, I just look back and look at those people that you have mentioned. And I was very, very fortunate to be able to work with all of them. And today I never thought that I'll be standing before you to celebrate a golden anniversary of the Multicultural Communities Council. But today I'd just like to, I will not do the welcome anymore, but I would like to thank you all for all the speakers, Mr. Lay, the Premier, and also Mr. Tig. And I would like to welcome all of those parliamentarians, mayor, councillors, and representatives from our partners, the History of Australia, the South Australian Multicultural Commission. Distinguished guests, you are all distinguished, representing your own communities and delegates of your own communities, the partners, friends, and families. I am deeply honored to stand before you as we mark a very remarkable milestone. 50 years of advocacy, empowerment, and service to multicultural communities across South Australia. Today, we just don't celebrate the passage of time, we honor a legacy built on vision, resilience, and the power of community. MCCSA began with a bold mission to uplift multicultural communities, to empower people to thrive while valuing their cultural identity, preserving their language, and also their heritage. This mission has endured. Through shifting demographics, policy changes, global events, MCCSA has remained a steadfast presence, guided by principles, fueled by purpose, and strengthened by partnership. We have not adapted to change. We have not only adapted to change, we have helped shape it. And in doing so, we have helped champion a truth that is now undeniable. Multiculturalism is no longer an exception. It is the new mainstream. Our languages, cuisines, traditions, and perspectives are woven into the very fabric of this state. They enrich our economy, our institutions, and our everyday lives. And MCCSA has been at the heart of that transformation, supporting inclusion while fostering respect. I would like to share with you now the key achievement of our organization. We are very proud, or I'm very proud, to proudly reflect on key achievements. Influencing inclusive policy through sustained advocacy, amplifying the voices of multicultural communities in civic and government life, supporting our elders through culturally sensitive aged care visit and transport, reconnecting youth to family and culture with early intervention and guidance, welcoming our international students, helping them navigate laws, the values, and our community life, fostering women's leadership, and presenting the biennial Women's Quiet Achievers Award, promoting men's mental health, breaking stigma, and encouraging connection, supporting people living with disability, building pathways to inclusion and independence, running multicultural play group to support early learning and school readiness, delivering cultural intelligence, training to build cultural responsiveness in the mainstream, assisting skilled migrants to navigate employment and career pathways, strengthening community governance and leadership. Every one of these services reflect our shared belief in dignity, equity, and empowerment. They remind us that inclusion is not a side project. It is essential to the health of our society. More than 20 years ago, through bold leadership, MCCSA purchased and refurbished its city-based home. Those who do not know where we are located, it's on 113 Gilbert Street, Adelaide. Today, it stands as a symbol of gathering, belonging, and opportunity, especially for communities without their own infrastructure. But we're not done yet. We now dream a 4-story multicultural hub, a national first, right here in South Australia, a space that meets urgent needs of today and holds the aspirations of tomorrow. We invite our governments and philanthropist partners to help us bring this bold vision to life. To our past and present leaders, delegates, thank you. To our staff, volunteers, and communities, past and present, you are our strength. And to our funders and partners, thank you for believing in our mission. Let us honor the past, empower the present, and boldly shape the future, where multiculturalism isn't just recognized, but celebrated as the new mainstream. Here is to the next 50 years of unity, inclusion, and shared success. Thank you, and happy birthday to us all.
Thank you, Miriam. That was just lovely. And all of you, most of you would have a bag on your chair as well, and it says multiculturalism is the new mainstream. So when we have 52% first or second generation, it says a lot about our population here in Australia, in South Australia. So we thought you can't have a birthday without having a reflection from one of our communities and the value that we have been as an organisation to our community. So we thought we'd ask Patricia Rios to actually come and provide us with a short reflection of the role that the Multicultural Communities Council has played in the life of the Hispanic Women's Association. Patricia?
Okay, hello everybody. I pay my respect to the traditional custodian of the land of which we meet today, the Kaurna people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and future. It is with immense pride and deep gratitude that I stand before you today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Multicultural Communities Council of South Australia. On this milestone occasion, I am honoured to share our story, the journey that has brought my community and me to this moment, and the collective spirit that continues to guide us forward. My association with MCC dates back the 1980s. I'm not that young, am I? A time when two organisations, the United Ethnic Communities and the Ethnic Communities Council, worked side by side serving South Australia's multicultural population. Through mutual respect, commitment and a shared vision, they united to form MCCSA, a stronger, more resilient and more inclusive peak body, one that continues to be the voice and advocate for multicultural South Australia. It is this deep respect and belief in the strength of diversity that has always drawn me to this organisation. Over the years, MCC has grown into a beacon of hope, equity and advocacy. I often say with a smile that MCC is our own little version of United Nations, not only in its diversity, but in its strong commitment to social justice, community empowerment, engagement, and capacity building. Its resources have been essential, particularly for new arrived and under-resourced communities navigating the complexities of settling in a new country. And yet, the beauty of MCC lies in how older, more established communities also feel seen, heard, and included in this collective journey. I had the honour of serving on MCC's board during a time of leadership transition, when Helena Kyriosopoulos moved from president to her current role as CEO, a role she continues to fulfil with passion and determination. The support of Miriam Cocken has been pivotal within the multicultural communities. She has been a mentor, someone I can always turn to for advice. I never hesitate to reach out to her. She understands naturally, and I don't have to explain everything in great detail. As a proud member of South Australia's growing Hispanic community, I can confidently say our path would have looked very different without MCC's support. From day one, they have played a mentoring role, like a big sister, helping us define and pursue our goals of self-determination, women's empowerment, and meaningful commitment participation. Whether it's hiring a hall, reviewing a grant application, or offering office space to empower our women, MCC has always been there, committed in its support. One of my most meaningful milestones with MCC came in 2016 under the visionary leadership of Kristen Johansson. That year, I helped establish the Buena Amistad Over 50s art group, and I was the project coordinator. I created a safe space for our older community members to connect and thrive. I'm still the coordinator in a voluntary capacity, and it is a great pleasure for me seeing this group of seniors gathering and talking in their language, stuff that matters to them, listening to their music and creating friendships. The art we do is a bonus. That experience deepens my understanding of the power of community and inspired me to found the Hispanic Women's Association of South Australia in 2019, where I continue to serve as president today. MCC embraced us wholeheartedly. Their support has been instrumental in every stage of our development, providing us not just a place to work and gather, but access to training, advocacy, resources, and vital networking opportunities. Today, HWASA, Hispanic Women's Association of South Australia, continues to thrive, empowering hundreds of women and their families across South Australia. From skill building workshops to community events, our initiatives are more impactful because of MCC's guidance and unwavering support. The ripple effect is real. What begins as a small idea in our community grows exponentially with MCC's infrastructure and compassion behind it. One standout example of this support is MCC's International Women's Day Quiet Achiever Award, a powerful recognition of migrant women whose contribution too often go unnoticed, but are deeply vital to our communities. We have proudly nominated our women for this award, celebrating their achievements, strengthening their self-confidence, and showcasing their talents. As a mentor working with women through HWASA's program, I see firsthand how far we've come. Our progress is a testament to the strength of collaboration, a beautiful synergy between Huasa's passion and vision and MCC's steady hand and open heart. I'm deeply grateful to have MCC in my life. It makes my job much easier. Their empathy, professionalism, and dedication are unmatched. They are more than an organisation. They're a lifeline, a home, and a catalyst for change. Whether working on the e-safety project, engaging with palliative care initiatives, or participating in the Women's Council and Aged Care Committee, I have seen our communities genuinely consulted, their ideas valued, and their voices included in decision-making processes. This involvement has made a real difference in the lives of Hispanic women and their families. So today, as we mark 50 years of MCC's existence, let us not only celebrate the past, but also look ahead, united in purpose, stronger than ever, and committed to continuing this journey together. Perhaps the next level is developing social enterprise initiatives, or build a 5-story building to accommodate more groups and more workers. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it? Thank you, MCC, and all of its staff and board members, past and present, for believing in us, supporting us, and growing with us. This is a glass of champagne. Here is to the 50 years of MCC. Thank you.
Well, that's a hard act to follow, isn't it? Patricia, thank you so much. And I know you've been involved with the organisation for quite a long time. And I value the words that you said. It's just incredible to know that our communities value us as an organisation, and we do go all out for our communities, and we do consult with them in our work that we undertake. So we bring them on a journey with us. I think it's really important that the community actually understand that we only exist because of our membership. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for being behind us. Now, what's a birthday without a cake? We've got cake. And Miriam, the floor is yours.
To all of our distinguished guests and dignitaries and community members for joining us in this very special occasion. Your presence has added so much to the significance of this milestone. To our patron, the Honourable Hugh Van Ley, our Premier and the Leader of the Opposition's representative, thank you for your ongoing support and for your inspiring words today. A heartfelt thanks also to you, Auntie Rosalind Coleman, for the moving welcome to country, grounding us in respect and connection to the land and its first peoples. To our chairperson, Mrs. Miriam Cocking, and all speakers today, your reflections have reminded us of the MCC's proud history and its vital role in shaping a stronger and more inclusive South Australia. A sincere thank you also to the MCC staff, the board, the members, the volunteers, and all who have worked so hard to bring this Jubilee celebration to life. But particular thanks to Annie and to Leonard, who are out there somewhere. And a huge thanks to our CEO, Helena Kyriazopoulos, who so successfully has organised today and brought it all so wonderfully together. Thank you, Helena. Yes. Very deserved indeed. And finally, we'd like to acknowledge and warmly thank the many community groups who have contributed to today's afternoon tea. Your contribution reflected the spirit of the MCCSA, a tapestry woven from many cultures, traditions, and shared generosity. Please enjoy the wonderful cultural performances of the Chonke Latin Folkloric Dance Group, followed by refreshments prepared with such care and pride by our community members. Thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the afternoon.